it's Micaya. Welcome to Respect DanceFest Weekly with Micaya and my co-host Brandy.
What's up, y'all?
Welcome, welcome. This is our very first episode, and we're going to be doing this every Saturday, 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time. And this is going to happen every Saturday up until November 21st, which is what's happening that day again? I forgot.
DanceFest! Wah, 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 wah. Okay, so November 21st, Saturday, DanceFest is going to be online this year. You can get your tickets at SFIHHDF.com. Make sure you get your tickets. Yes,
Wait,
it's going to be amazing.
What year are we in? Remind me.
2020. 2020.
22. Wait, no, wait. You're confusing me, Brandy.
Year is 2020. Where's 22nd SF Hip Hop Dance Fest?
Yeah,
22nd. Yes.
This is our 22nd annual. We started in 1999, which you were there.
I was there. I snuck in. I was like, oh, I'm taking pictures. I was right up there. I took pictures. I still got pictures that first Dance Fest. That's right. That's right. That was fun.
It was fun. It was fun. And you've been there alongside of the Dance Fest, supporting, watching it grow for 2 years. Starting as just a local effort to bring hip-hop dance to the theater, to bring respect to the art form, to now what it is, bringing dance companies from all over the world, bringing them here, providing food for them, putting them in hotels, massage therapists, all the things.
That's right, physical therapists. Yes, you treat those dancers well. Yes, you treat dancers well.
Well, you and me both, we're dancers. So what better person to host a dance festival than dancers? I mean, really, come on, it's a no-brainer. November 21st, we're doing an online festival, and we're having some montages of past performance, including Chicago Footwear Kings, which we'll talk about later, a new piece that's being commissioned. Have you heard about that?
I have heard about that. You've got these hand-picked dance companies. You've got them collaborating. They're going to create this wonderful piece. I'm excited about that.
Well,
I know we're going to have some live performances by local artists. Yep.
Yes. Well,
I'm very excited about the kids montage. I got to get my kids, get that song, get them in the kitchen. They want to dance to Frozen. I'm like, no, you got to dance to this song.
It's my all-time favorite song. Well, Treat 'Em Right by Chubb Rock, but I did the Mary J. Blige version, a little more happy. So yes, all the children are going to be, any child that wants to be in the montage just has to go to sfhiphopdancefest.com, upload their footage, and then they'll be in our montage. But I just wanted to tell you one other thing, because it hasn't been released yet, but everybody that's watching this is going to be first on the know that the piece that these 5 dancers, I got a b-boy, a crumper, a popper, a house dancer, and a hip-hop dancer, and they all kind of flow into other styles as well. The theme of their piece is called Isolation and Humanity. Yeah. Basically, they're talking about they're conceptualizing a piece about what it's like to be separated from each other, from everyone, and humanity during this pandemic, and how it's all affected them.
That's serious. And that's real.
Yeah, it's real. My goal is so that people that come to the SF International Hip Hop Dance Fest for all these years, when they sit in their seats at home, they have those same feelings they get when they're at the palace. That's my goal, is that they get those tingles, they get those laughs, they get those heartwarming places. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Right on.
But yeah, so anyway, I'm excited. Who's our guest today?
Who do we have today? Yes, we have King Charles. Ooh. I'm very excited. So I have had the pleasure of, being backstage Dance Fest, all kinds of artists and performers, and King Charles is one of my favorites, of course. So I just feel like he just lights up a room when he comes in and makes everybody feel like, that they're important, you know, and so I just love the energy that he brings to DanceFest. So yeah, he's been in the dance game since a young age. In 2001, founded Creation, which is now Creation Global, a dance company that has all kinds of different dance styles in it. And the first time I met King Charles, he was performing with the Footwork Kings. So just amazingly high energy footwork coming out of Chicago, called Chicago Footwork. So that's where he's coming at us from. He travels the world. He's in the battle circuit. He's performed with artists like Madonna, will.i.am. So I'm really excited that he is our first guest for the first episode of this podcast. Yeah.
Welcome, King Charles.
Hey. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Yeah. This is a good day. Good day here in Arizona.
All right.
Probably like 800 degrees.
Yeah. A cool day here. A cool day is probably like 105.
Woo!
Yeah, you need a pool.
Yeah, for real.
Man.
You know,
I think
Brandy,
here in the Bay, if it's like 85, we're like, oh, I'm sweating.
yes. You know, Brandy, you were just saying that we really are really honored to have you as our first guest. And why not have a king? Why not have a king?
Yes.
I mean, really, we're honored. I'm honored. You are one of my absolute favorite dancers on this planet.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of dancers on this planet. You bring a whole nother magic that makes us feel happy to be alive to watch you dance. Like for real. So I have to start by saying that, you know, like you're one of my all-time favorite dancers, but along with that, you're just always been a warm human being that never been anything but generous with your knowledge. Because when the first time you came to the SF International Hip Hop Dance Fest, I didn't really know the history. And you sat my butt down and just said, here we go. And we'll get into that later. But like, I love how generous you are with everything. And I want everyone who's watching to learn a little bit. But I want to start with the fact, why did I call this podcast Respect? Very intentionally, because I feel like as a dancer, choreographer, director, producer, that's been the biggest title issue that I've had to deal with. Number one, how can I get more respect for dancers, and how can I get more respect for hip hop dancers in general? It just seems like people feel like, oh, we're just going to dance for free, or we love what we do, so, you know, we're not going to treat them like we would another professional or even another professional artist. So my question to you, and I think I'm going to ask everyone this first, is how has respect affected you, or even the lack of respect have affected you in your professional career?
Wow, that's a really, really good first question. Wow. That's your first question? Okay. Well, honestly, that's always been one of my biggest goals, besides connecting with the world, connecting with people of the world. My other biggest goal, and probably my first, was just going hand in hand with just getting respect. How do I get respect from people? I think, you know, just kind of being true to who I am, but also being appreciative of who someone else is, and figuring out how can we grow together in this moment, in this season, in this long, you know, journey together, whichever one it is, right? And so I worked on that at a young age, to just figure out how to just like understand people, show them that I understand, but then also show them who I am, show them my light, you know, in a way that they can understand it and maybe learn or grow to appreciate it. you know, and so I like to go the long route with the process. I like to go brick by brick with the process, because I just feel like if I lay the bricks down the right way and we see how this forms, the respect stays.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And so that's always been a big focus for me. And that's how I got the respect from my city of Chicago. I got to learn the community first, and then from there, you know, just step by step of commitment, consistency, you know, vibing with people, you know, bringing positive, fiery energy to a space, because that's the element of Chicago. It's very fiery, you know, just so that they don't look at me like I'm just some kind of outcast. I want to appreciate what they bring to the table already, because they were here before me, you know. And that's kind of how the respect gets passed on. So my work ethic, all of that, you know, but I definitely think once all that's, you know, laid, you know, just remembering your own value and showing that through your actions and through your choices, no matter if it seems like the pressure is on you to sell yourself a little lower, you know, kind of holding on to that thought of everything that you've done, you know, for the right reasons, and all the hard work that you've put in. You got to show that consistently, even to the people who meet you now who haven't seen all the work. So yeah, that's what I had to do in Chicago. That's what I had to do in LA, now in Arizona. And that's what I had to do all around the world. It's just, you know, and what if I only have a week to try to earn somebody's respect, or 2 days? You know, like I said, how do you do that? You know, so yeah, that's all I've been working on. And, you know, that's been a big goal of mine, because I give respect to other people and I expect for it back in return. And that's what it's been passed to me most of the time. You know, it's been a great experience of respect exchange, sharing, or whatever we want to call it, you know. Yeah, respect. Wow. That was a really good question. I hope I answered it. I don't know. I think I just went out on a rant.
I think you answered it. Yeah, you just you show up with the intention of giving respect, and you know, you expect that that's how, no matter how short the relationship is going to be or the interaction, you show up ready to give respect. You know, that's based in the foundation of who you are and where you come from. And so then that does make it easier for people to respect you, because they feel that when they're interacting with you. Yeah.
And there's not an imbalance of, I'm about to give you all this respect and you don't have to give me anything. That's not the aura that I'm sending across. You know what I mean? I think that's also important too. People need to know that they're special, you know, and step into the room with that, but not in a imbalance. You know what I mean? Not too much, not too less, you know, right there in the middle. Maybe because I'm a Libra. I mean, I don't know too much about, you know, zodiac signs, but maybe that's why.
You got your scales.
I was going to say maybe a Taurus, because he's like building, you know, he's methodical, and he doesn't just like expect, he does his work. So unfortunately, I got to say it, I respect what you just said, but.
Right on. So I got a question for you. So Chicago footwork, you gotta school us. You gotta school, you know, our audience, and tell us, you know, talk to us about the style, a bit of the history. Because I remember taking your masterclass one year for the DanceFest, and I was humbled. I was just like, okay, I can do this, but I can't do this the way they're doing it. I could see in the future if I put in a bunch of hours. You know what I'm saying? So tell us about that.
Wow. Yo, like, I really appreciate you for taking that class back then, because, man, I just feel like I was just so raw back then. I don't even know if people could actually like learn the information. I don't know, but hopefully you took something from the class. I hope, you know, I just feel like, you know, I've been putting a lot of energy into education to figure out how to get people to understand it faster and easier. Yeah, I definitely feel like I've grown a lot more since then. But no, respect, yo. So with Chicago Footwork in the short version, it's been around for over 30 years. It started with house music on the west and the south sides of Chicago in the African American communities, male populated. Not the women are catching up now, but at that point, well, actually, it was pretty balanced in the beginning because it was to house music, in places like the Warehouse and stuff like that. Yeah, and it wasn't even called Chicago Footwork. It wasn't called footworking. It was just free street dance. That was the root. That was the source, that was the freedom. And then there was trendy things that were getting brought up within that freedom and those communities. By the way, when the house community was around, it wasn't just African American. It was Black, Latinos, whites, raves, gay community, all all bunched in these parties and stuff, just partying and stuff. And a lot of loving, high energy music that was created by Chicago, New York producers, and maybe even Detroit producers to make that sound in Chicago. But anyway, so that's where it started. And then in the 90s, that's when the specific footwork part of all this dancing started to branch off and have its own little society or group of people that just wanted to focus on footwork. They were still incorporating party moves like the percolator and all this stuff in there, but footwork started to really shine in these dance groups. And we had a lot of dance groups. That's our foundation, dance groups, troops, that were in universities or that wanted to represent kind of how the fraternities and the sororities did, like U5U, K59, House-O-Matic, House Arrest. These are some of our forefather groups, and they were pushing footwork to house music. And then the music changed to ghetto house, which came from people in the projects of Chicago that wanted to play house, but with a more raunchy sound to it and message. That turned into a higher pace tempo of music, which the dancers have to keep up with. So the footwork, you can imagine, okay, we got to keep up with the music. We got to speed it up. We got to put more energy into it, more power. And that created more of a form and a design for this style of dance. Then a terminology hit the streets called juke, where people were saying it oh yeah, that place over there, it looks like it's juking, meaning there's a lot of people, it looks like it's popping, it looks like it's dope. That meant juking. So when they heard this term, they started, DJ Poncho and a couple other guys started putting it in their records and started saying juke, 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 juke. So whatever was going on in the culture, some certain people started labeling it as juke. Oh, this dance is called juking. Those people over there are juking. They got juke music. So juke became its own era. And that's the era that I was born in, with Chicago Footwork. That's the third generation of our music. And then the dance followed. The tempo speeded faster, went all the way from 130, 140 to 160, maybe even 170 at one point. Then they slowed it back down, BPM. And then the footwork started to get more aggressive. People started not wanting to just perform and party, but maybe even battle with it. And so they started learning how to target in an exchange. And that brought more aggression and high energy with the dance. And still to this day, we dance to juke music, but we also have a sound called Chicago Footwork music, which is brother and sister to each other. It's the same tempo, but the message is a little different. Juke is more about booty shaking and partying and all that stuff to the same speed. And then the footwork tracks talk about what moves you're doing or who you're battling or that type of stuff. So we've come a long way, definitely come a long way.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking notes.
Oh, me too, girl. I'm about to find me some ghetto house, some juke, immersed the whole day.
Professor Professor King Charles. We just gave you a whole new name because you're always teaching us. When I met you, you were, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were being developed from a freestyler into someone who could conceptualize into a choreography. And that was a new experience for you, which was kind of like mind-blowing and eye-opening because it showed you different parts of the world. And I think, this is just, I remembered that somebody that was in the show from France brought you guys over there to teach them footworkings, right?
Wow. Okay. So, yeah, I hadn't thought about that in a while. So me and Prince J-Ron, shouts out to Prince J-Ron, toured with Madonna together. And after that, we made some connections internationally. And we connected with this guy named Mish, who at one point wanted to do a project with different people who did different footwork styles. So we had some people from Marseille, France, the South, from Paris. And then he wanted to add 2 Chicagoans to the mix. And so we put together a whole show demonstrating what the house culture is like all the way to Chicago footwork. That show, I'm not really sure how, but got brought out to San Francisco at one point, and that was like a new experience for me, like just meeting people through the guy who set it up, which is his name is Mish.
Mish, yeah. So Mish was in the show the year that you were in, and I think that's how you guys met, is at DanceFest. Because you all met and went after you met at DanceFest. You hadn't met each other before. It didn't happen the other way around.
Really?
Yeah. But
we came to dance for DanceFest. We came in 2007.
Twice.
Yeah, there was. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You came twice. You came the very first time when Lady Soul brought you out.
Right.
I don't know what year that was, and then you came that second time. I don't know year. I'm bad at years, but
yeah, it was 2007, and we had the red jackets on.
That's right.
And the black jackets and with the masks, and then the next time we danced for the Apollo in New York, and we brought that same piece to the DanceFest, and it was 4 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was 2011 or 12.
Yeah, I don't know either. But I know the first time you came, whatever year that was, a minute ago, I do know it was a while ago, that it was new to you to do a conceptualized performance piece. Like, even though you were dancing and you were doing your freestyle, like a whole new world had been opened up to you, is how to actually intentionally put something together, choreograph and everything. So, now that that's been part of your history for a long time, what inspires you now? How do you create?
Wow. Yeah, no, those were definitely some of the first times I got the opportunity to really like exercise that ability artistically. Big shouts out to Lady Soul too. She helped mentor me in theater performances. Nowadays, it's my cat. Okay. Nowadays, I don't know. I just let my creativity just blossom all over the space that I'm in. Like, I don't hold anything back nowadays. I'm pretty much, she wants to be a part of it.
Hey, kitty.
Look at her. She's like, yeah, I want to join. Yeah, so I just let it blossom everywhere now. I got like a large amount of members in my crew. And it makes me more excited to just come up with ideas and just throw it at them. Like, oh, I got all different types of people, from Asians to South Americans to, girls, boys, and I'm like, oh, this would look dope with this, even during the COVID quarantine times where everything is digital, just coming up with concepts and ways to do things. But on stage, it's so awesome because You know, how are you going to utilize this space, and what frequency too? You know, what type of message are you trying to get across? You know, oh man, just the lighting and everything. You can really bring things to life on a stage. That's why I'm so grateful for doing shows with you guys, you know. But yeah, I'm definitely always trying to expand my creativity. Music is one of the main things that helps spark things for me, and that's why I always keep an ear to different genres. I've never just been in the box of one, even though Chicago footwork is mainly focused on, you know, its particular style. I recognize, well, I mean, my parents are musicians anyway, so they would be, I would be doing them a, is it called a disservice? I would be doing them a disservice if I didn't listen to all different types of music anyway. So I utilize that as much as I can with dance, with message, you know, and try to like impact as many people as possible. So I'm pretty much still on the same path I was, but just more colorful nowadays through my experiences, especially after like a Madonna tour. Goodness gracious. Like, oh yeah, I'm down to just be a creative director now and just like really throw things into motion and just watch it play out and just improv mixed with like precise execution of planning and costumes and oh yeah.
Yes, getting into it.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful when that happens. Just like the continued like being immersed in dance and how you just continue to be open more and more and more to just like, what can we do? It's magic. Let's make magic.
Yeah. Yeah, like with this quarantine thing, like, you know, I feel like, and I said this before, you know, I feel like instead of like this is gonna make or break you, this I feel like this was, especially for the artist, this was supposed to like level us up. That's how I feel. I feel like if we are an artist and we utilize things around us as resources to portray what we're trying to say, and those are most of our success stories, you know, like just being creative in what we have to tell you something, you know, then why not see an avenue in this? Because when this is all said and done, if it's all said and done and we do get the opportunity to come back together, we have more than one lane to amplify. You know what I'm saying? And so as soon as this hit, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Spiritually, I was like, "Oh, okay, this is the test. This is, you want to see what I can? Okay, I got you." Boom! I was slamming. I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna utilize everything around me and still get like this feeling across to everybody that I'm connected with, and I'm gonna do it twice as fast now since all I gotta do is click a button." You know? Even though it's not the way that I look forward to connecting with people the most, because I'm a very energetic, kind of intimate person.
Yeah.
I'm down to adapt to whatever situation. I grew up in Chicago. I learned how to adapt. You know, survival 101.
Yeah. Right. Right. So we touched a little bit on the DanceFest kind of, you know, timeline when you performed with the Footwork Kings. So tell us about maybe like the first year you were in DanceFest. So you and Micaya were talking about kind of meeting up with people. Tell me about like another memorable experience from DanceFest. It doesn't have to be the first one. It can be either one, but like, you know, what to you, what's the kind of like soul or ether, like what are the memories that flow in when you think about DanceFest?
One of the biggest memories that I have from DanceFest, besides my first performance with you guys, because that will always stick out. one reason one of my friends passed, who was in that show, and so so those memories live on even stronger now because of that. You know, shouts out to Kendall. He was one of my main members of Creation and Footwork Kings. Yeah, so that. But if I wasn't talking about that memory, I would say I became good friends with one of the OGs of hip hop later on, when I moved to New York, when I was in rehearsals. But the first introduction to this man was on that DanceFest stage.
Who? Stretch?
Yep.
Stretch.
Buddha Stretch. I remember sitting in the audience. That was actually my first introduction to all four of these people, and I became tight with them. It was Stretch. They did a Wizard of Oz piece.
Yeah.
It was Stretch.
I remember that.
It was Moncel. It was a frat. She was Dorothy.
Yep.
She was the B girl spinning in her, you know. And then it was one of my close friends, who's one of the best house dancers I've ever met on this planet, who's super low key. Now he's a Lindy Hop dancer. His name is Sydney. He was the Scarecrow.
Right.
Doing house dancing and stuff. So that performance was so memorable to me. It was teaching me so much. It was like dropping my walls of insecurities, or just like not being open to like conceptually looking like that in a performance. You know, Chicago footwork was always so tough and like so more like strong and aggressive and just like in one lane of how we look as an image. And that stuff was breaking down my walls and letting me know, like, Charles, it's okay. It's okay, Charles, you know. And so I didn't know it until later, but those things stick with you, man. So yeah, that was one of my biggest moments right there. And then there was also another one where like this was the last time that we performed. I was single at the time. Yeah. And I don't know, we were just hanging out with like all the girls like in this company, you know, like after the show, but they did a great job. They were all wearing like these white tops with the bow ties, and like, I forgot the name of the crew. They're from the Bay though. It was like 20, 25 of them. And they loved our performance. We loved their performance. So every picture we took after the show was just with them. It was like, we were just having a good time. But nah, it was great because of social reasons. There was another big moment that happened to me. It's because of DanceFest that I met this group called The Plague.
Oh, hey!
It was because of DanceFest. And after that, the artistic director of Plague, which is Brooke, he told the agent or the manager at the time, Rob, I want that guy who did that Chicago footwork, I want him in the UK and I want him to train us. So Rob flew me out.
That's the story I heard. I thought it was France, but maybe it was London.
Oh yeah, it was London, yeah. So Rob flew me out. And then I had private sessions with the whole Plague. We started doing performances, and then I end up joining Rob's agency and going to UK all the time just to connect with them. So much appreciation. If I never said thank you, thank you right now for that.
A shout out to Plague. They just celebrated their 20-year anniversary this past weekend.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. They were trying to get some footage from DanceFest, but right now we're digitizing a lot of our footage, so I didn't have access to it. But yes, you know, the one thing that I like about the SF International Hip Hop Dance Fest is that we're all connecting, like you're saying, socially and professionally backstage, and there's not that competition vibe and the battle vibe, and people are learning from each other, like, oh, look at that popper's learning footworking, and this guy's learning some crump, and yeah, socially people people hook up, but I don't have anything to do with that. But that happens too. But the one thing I remember, that Wizard of Oz piece that Mop Tops did.
Mop Top.
Right. Stretch. I think one of them, whoever was being the lion.
Monsell.
It was Monsell. It was Monsell. He did not rehearse with that mask, the head. So when he went on stage for the first time with that thing on, he couldn't see.
Oh, dang.
Wow.
He couldn't see the whole time. He came off stage going, that was a fiasco to him. Of course, we couldn't tell. And I wanted to know, was like anything crazy like that happened to you on stage where, like, you know, because live things happen and you just like, oh my God, I lost my wig or my pants fell down.
Yeah. There was a performance that I got invited to. It was like a ballet-based show that brought out specialty acts. And a friend of mine named Lil Buck, he brought me out, and it was called the Vail Festival in Colorado in the mountains.
Great festival.
Yeah, and so there was a live band performing all these different instruments, and they wanted me, Lil Buck, and two other dancers, a Detroit Jit dancer and another Memphis Jug dancer, to freestyle and do improv to their sounds, not knowing what sounds they're coming up with. And it's okay. I have pretty good musical ability, so I was cool. I think the biggest compliment I got from that performance afterwards, when the audience was allowed on the stage to talk with the performers, was, hey, where's that guy with the shoe move? Where's that guy with the shoe move? And they're like, oh, that's him over there. And then like, oh my God, like that shoe move was so incredible. Like I didn't expect to see that. Like, wow, like how much did you rehearse that? And it was so funny because what happened was, it was the first time in my career where my shoe came off.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Right.
While I was footworking, but you know, we're quick to react with everything that we do since we're just so quick anyway with our music and stuff. So I just turned the whole thing into a dance move. Like, you know, there's no other way for me. So like I start dancing around the shoe, and then right when the musician did his last sound, and I didn't know it was gonna stop, but he stopped, I did a move, grabbed my shoe, took my other one off, and just held them both in my hand and just froze.
Bravo.
You know, dang. So everyone thought like, you know, it was planned. And I'm glad they did, because it definitely wasn't. But yeah, that was pretty tough for me. And then I danced partially blind for 2 years on the Madonna tour, actually. Wow. I don't have really good vision, and I didn't wear contacts at that time. So I was squinting the whole time, and I had to do moves over her head, under her, you know, like, so it was definitely a challenge, but I figured out a way how to like succeed. Because if you don't, you're kicked off the show, the tour, no questions asked, pack your bags, you're gone.
That's it.
And that's on your resume. But yeah, so I had some challenges, but I don't think I was more embarrassed than, except for that time I was in a New York club and I ripped a hole in my pants like this big, but that wasn't on a stage. Yeah, so I think that's about it.
Well, those are shows that you're a true artist, that you can pull off anything. So thank you for sharing that. You know, we all, as artists that have had stage experience, we all have our stories. So we're about to wrap this up, and you are a gift in so many ways, Charles. I can't thank you enough for gracing us and being part of our very first episode. We're super excited that you were here today. And Brandy, guess what? We got next week. Guess who's going to be our guest?
I don't have a guest.
I know. You don't even have a guess. Jason Hill
Right.
from Royalty Dance Crew.
Oh my goodness.
So we're going to have fun talking to that child. I cannot wait.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be so exciting. Don't forget, DanceFest tickets are on sale, sfhiphopdancefest.com. You can check out all this stuff. I think that's you, Micaya. Where can they find these interviews every Saturday?
On the social memes.
Social media, Instagram, Facebook. Check us out. Yes. Again, tickets online. This is going to be exciting. I'm excited to just like be immersed in dance and talk about dance and take my notes and
Me
then
too.
go.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much, Charles. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Much love, much respect to you all. Till next time.